Symbology of the Bible, Volume 2. The Cup of Wrath. The cup of wrath was mentioned, once before, in another article. It behooves us to investigate this subject, since I do not think most people will want to take a sip from that cup. Exodus 15 verse 7, And in the greatness of thine excellency, thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee, thou sentest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble. This verse is from what is referred to as the Song of Moses. It praises Yahweh for defeating Pharaoh and his army. The flood stood upright and the waters congealed. Given our knowledge of symbology, we can interpret the verses of the song as the armies, moved by the Holy Spirit, closed ranks on the enemy, and they were thoroughly defeated. However, Yahweh's wrath is not entirely symbolic. There is symbology of objects, etc., that represent that wrath, such as the consuming fire and the hail, to name a couple. The Hebrew for wrath in the verse above is
Charon, from age 2734, a burning of anger, sore, displeasure, fierce, fierceness, fury, fierce wrath, wrathful. The root is hara.
Hara, to glow, or grow warm, figuratively, usually, to blaze up, of anger, zeal, jealousy.
Here, we see the consuming fire that burns the chaff, the tares, and the stubble left in the field after the harvest. Another instance of Yahweh's wrath is found here. Numbers 11:33, And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, the wrath of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord smote the people with a very great plague. In this verse the Hebrew translated wrath is
Af. Properly, the nose or nostril, hence the face, and occasionally a person. Also, from the rapid breathing and passion, ire.
And Sharon is translated as kindled. So, it is always best to go to the root of the languages to obtain a more informed perspective. The purpose of citing these verses is to establish that Yahweh can become angry, and even jealous, in the fact that children look to other gods. They are the ones, symbolically, compared to defiled brides, victims of the seducer, deceptions, and false teaching. Another place where Yahweh's wrath is cited is 2 Kings 22 verse 13, Go ye, inquire of the Lord, for me, and for the people, and for all Judah, concerning the words of this book that is found, for great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book, to do according unto all that which is written concerning us. Here, wrath is hema, heat, figuratively, anger, poison, from its fever. But, the more important message is, we have the book, the bread of life, the word, and therefore, no excuse, when that cup of wrath comes around. So, the fact is, Yahweh can become angry, just like us. Thus, we cannot expect to be treated with kid gloves. Now, for the cup. Psalm 75 verse 8, For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red, it is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out, and drink them. The mixture here is
Mesad, Mesek, a mixture, that is, of wine, with spices, etymology, from H 4537.
Sounds like a pleasant beverage, but those spices are not, as we would think of spices. The dregs are the sediment formed by these spices, and the wicked will consume them. The Hebrew for wring them out is
matzah, masa, to suck out, by implication, to drain, to squeeze out, etymology a primitive root.
So, they will have to suck them out of the cup and consume them. This will most likely not be a pleasant experience. Here is that cup again. Isaiah 51:17-23. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which hast drunk, at the hand of the Lord, the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling, and wrung them out. 18. There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she hath brought forth, neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she hath brought up. 19. These two things are come unto thee, who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction, and the famine, and the sword, by whom shall I comfort thee? 20. Thy sons have fainted, they lie at the head of all the streets, as a wild bull in a net, they are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God. 21. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. 22. Thus saith thy Lord, the Lord, and thy God, that pleadeth the cause of his people, behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. 23. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, Bow down, that we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street. To them that went over. It is time to wake up, to understand what that cup is, what the furnace, flood, locusts, and hail are. To open your mind, and accept the message that can be found, repeated over and over, so that it cannot be missed. Once more. Habakkuk 2 verse 15, Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken, also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. 16. Thou art filled with shame, for glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. These verses even speak of spiritual nakedness, sleeping with the wrong husband, the wrong bride, being spiritually led away from the shepherd. It is the shepherd who is the staff of El, it is Yahshua who is the right hand of Yah. And now we find the cup in Matthew. Matthew 23 verse 25, Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye make clean the outside of the cup, and of the platter, but within, they are full of extortion and excess. 26. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. This is symbolic, and is connected to the cup of wrath. The leaders of the community and temple polished the outside, so that it looks attractive, hiding what's really inside. And, don't forget, some of the scribes are Kenite, descended from Cain, whose father is the serpent, that dragon. They are the tares that crept into the field, without anyone knowing, offering up a cup of filth, presenting it as new wine, in a fine vessel. And, the wielder of the cup of wrath, is identified here. Matthew 20 verse 23, And he saith unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with, but to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them, for whom it is prepared, of my Father. This verse is a good example of the two-edged sword. On the one level, Yahshua said they would drink from the cup he will be drinking from, which is to be killed, but, on another level, it is he who will pour out the cup of wrath, by his hand, and those who are destined to, will suck out those dregs, and consume the bitterness of them. And all of the above lays the foundation for this verse. Matthew 26 verse 39, and he went a little further, and fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me, nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. There are those who say that this was a moment of weakness for Yahshua and interpret it as a prayer to avoid being crucified. However, as we have seen, his vow as the Nazirite and the entire volume of the book were and are never in doubt. What this prayer is a petition to not have to pour the cup of wrath out on the children, and we are all his children. After the Passover sacrifice, being lifted up on the pole, the completion of the vow, what is left to complete, is the second coming, when judgment will be given, the furnace stoked hot, and the threshing floor made busy, and the cup of wrath poured out. Revelation 14 verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out, without mixture, into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone, in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. Being chastised and corrected is the way of Yahovah and parents, but not torture and torment. It is better to interpret the verse above as, they who have the mark of the beast in their forehead, in their mind, will be tormented by the knowledge that they will cease to exist as an entity, the consuming fire being symbolic of the carrying out of judgment, and the lake of fire symbolic of all of those who will perish, being consumed at once. And always keep in mind the purpose to eliminate those who would destroy creation and remake a universe of their own liking, with all the abhorrent behavior we see people engaging in today, or at any other time, for that matter.